Welcome to your Daily 5 for Thursday, August 29th, 2024. The series finale of the fantastic CBS television show Evil aired, I want to say, a week ago today. I think it was last week. It was last Thursday. My wife and I did not get around to watching it until this week because we really wanted to set the time aside and watch it because we've both been huge fans of the show. And I knew that the show had been canceled before the planned ending. Well, the creators, I've seen a couple of interviews where they've stated that they intended for the show to run for 6 seasons. And it was canceled essentially with a very, very short season 5. The last 4 episodes are what they consider to be season 5. Even though they are listed as part of season 4, it's very clear watching them they were meant to be a season 5 or a longer season that got really, really compressed. That is probably the biggest issue with the last 4 episodes, is it's very clear that these are compressed episodes. It didn't really present much of a problem for me. I think my wife was a little bit let down by the finale, or maybe it just wasn't what she expected. And honestly, I think a lot of people might, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was a bad end. I certainly wouldn't. I thought the ending was very good. I thought it stayed very, very true to what the series had always been talking about in terms of good and evil and what they mean and, you know, what those concepts are actually, what those concepts really result in. And the fact that there is a lot of moral gray area on both sides of those terms. So I was very happy with the ending, but it also was very clear that they had to speed run through a couple of major plot elements because they frankly just didn't have the time to tell the story in a more complete way. Do I think that means the ending was bad? No, I wouldn't say that at all. Does it feel at times like things are resolving very quickly and with very, very neat little resolutions? Yes, I think that that's something that you will sense. But I think about how many series get canceled with no resolution, how many series that are planned for multiple seasons suddenly just get canceled out of nowhere and you're left with no ending. And in comparison to that, with that context, I think this is a phenomenal way for what is one of the better modern shows I've seen to be able to go out. So I am putting what I would have expected the finale to be away and just being very happy that we got a finale that ties up all the really big plot elements, even if at times it's doing it on a very accelerated timeline, and leaves enough room that if for some reason in the future they decide to come back to this, and it looks like a very expensive show because it's beautiful, so I doubt it, but if they were to come back and revisit it, the door is open for that, but it does not leave so many things unresolved that you sit there and go, well, we needed another season of this. What happened with this, this, and this? All the really important stuff is addressed, and it is addressed well enough that I think that most people will be satisfied with the ending. They may have wanted more, and of course you always want more of a show you really like, but I think that, again, in comparison to shows that just get cut off, where you feel like there's major parts of the story that you never got answers to, or that were clearly setting up bigger and better things and then just suddenly stop, this is a really good finale for what was a stellar show. It is, I would compare this in many ways to the NBC show Hannibal, which I think the finale of that some people were not entirely happy with, and they've talked about renewing that or coming back to that for years in a movie or another series form. But I thought, well, you know what? You don't get shows like this often, so when you get an ending that at least feels like it makes sense with what came before, sometimes you sit there and go, we got lucky. You got something that was a high quality with great actors throughout, was telling interesting stories, and it got to end up the way that it mostly wanted to. At least they were able to resolve this thing, and it wasn't something where somebody came in and tried to edit a finale, and that has happened. So, again, would it have been great if they'd gotten the 2 more seasons that they planned to, or the full 2 seasons? Of course. You always want to see creators be able to tell the story they want to tell. But in a modern day, I mean, look at what happened with The Acolyte and other series on all these services that just get eliminated, even if they are doing very well and they are telling interesting stories, they just get cut off. I'm not going to complain too much. I'm really not. And as soon as I saw the runtime was still just about an hour and it wasn't like a 2-hour episode, I had a feeling, okay, this is probably going to have some shortcuts in it. But I don't think any of those took anything away from the show as a whole. I still think it was a very good finale. And I would say if you've never watched this show, then you absolutely should check it out because it is phenomenal. And I wish more people had watched it. So that's what I have to say. Later.